is Real to Real Podcast. Real stories, real sports. And here's your host,
Welcome to
Kobe Baker
Real. And let me just say this. I've done a couple podcasts, but when I started this one, everybody was telling me you got to get some big hitters and some heavy hitters on the show. And listen, this is what I came up with. One of the premier basketball skill and player development coaches in the world. He's been traveling all over the globe, impacting the game of basketball, 48 states, 47 countries, 5 continents. He's trained players in the NBA, the WNBA, the Euro leagues. But before he did all that, he was from the 757, and that's where he grew up. Ganon, man, I know you're busy, brother, and I really appreciate you joining me, man.
Never too busy to spread the love to Hampton Roads, man. I got so much admiration for my hometown, the good, the bad, the ugly.
That's right.
I miss it terribly, and it's just an honor to be on your show, man. I love the name, Real to Real.
Yeah, that's right. Let's keep it real on here, baby. Let's do it. But I talked about everything you're doing now, Ganon, but like I said, it started somewhere, man. It started in the Hampton, Virginia area. You grew up in Hampton, and we can have a whole nother show of all the athletes that have come from here. Everybody knows the 757 is loaded, and it's just a hotbed for talent. But you were in the middle of all that, brother, growing up, man. Just talk about growing up in Hampton, not only in sports, but just, your family. You had a family full of athletes as well. So just talk about growing up in Hampton, man.
Yeah, I mean, Hampton Roads has so many great athletes. I don't even consider myself one of them. I was good, but there have been some great ones. And that's the thing that I remember about Hampton, man. Like, I played, and I'm gonna throw the race thing out there because it is what it is. But my family put me in all the white sports first. So I did swimming, and there was some great athletes. I did soccer. Right. And the competitiveness, it was amazing. And I did baseball, Hank and Henry Morgan was my coach. And but my love was basketball. So, I started to get into Aberdeen, Outside Park, Shell Road, King Street, Fort Eustis, Langley, Lindsay, downtown Newport News. Would run into Allen Iverson as a young kid. The Blackmans took me under their wing, Ronnie and Paul. I befriended Kevin Swan and grew up at the boys club, met Jermaine Golston, John Scott, Baruch Harris. And so I found myself as the only white
there, boy. Some names there, boy. Yeah.
Scipio, DeRocky Kroom, like all those guys, Art Jones took me under their wing as the only white dude in the gym. They didn't look at me as Caucasian. They look at me as a hooper. Hey, if you want to hoop, and you want to, so at an early age, I found that in Hampton, success is colorblind and gender free, regardless of how the media sometimes portrays cities, especially our city. I don't know if you saw the 30 for 30 with Iverson, I get all that. But for me, the best way to overcome racism, hatred, bigotry is to join a team. And I was on a team early on, JV. I made JV as 8th grader. David Blizzard probably did me a favor, took me on the team when I wasn't good enough, just worked my way up to where, I became, a state champion, Division I scholarships. I think I had like 31 Division I offers, and I just took my career from there. But, growing up in Hampton, everywhere you went to play ball, it was competitive. It was always metaphorically, sometimes physically a fight. And so I couldn't be soft. I couldn't be silent. I couldn't be sensitive. And those 3 S's I learned as a player, I take now into my coaching. I teach kids not to be soft, sensitive, or silent. And I give, Hampton Roads all glory for that.
You talked about, we're going to talk about your Hampton High career in a minute, but just talk about your family, Ganon. I mean, you got a family full of athletes, man. Your dad, your grandfather, your brothers. Just talk a little bit about that.
That's right. So my granddad was a 4-star letterman at Richmond. He played golf, football, basketball, and baseball, and track. So he played all those sports, Division I level. Was on the only undefeated team in the history of Richmond. Now they only played like 12 games, but back then they were 12-0, and my brother ended up playing at Richmond. He was all state and didn't win a state championship, but he got a chip in college, went to the tournament with John Belon. And my dad really started it all, man. My dad was played at Hampton High School, won a state champion as well. Honorable mention All State, got a Division II scholarship at Randolph-Macon, played for the legendary Paul Webb, who coached at Old Dominion. He kind of, introduced me to basketball because at the time growing up, he was the head coach at Phoebus High School. So
Nice.
he coached two of the most legendary players in the history of not only Hampton Roads, but in Virginia. He coached Ricky Wilson, right? And played for the Chicago Bulls, and George Mason, and now works for Brand Jordan.
That's right.
But the legendary Hall of Famer Boo Williams.
You gotta mention him for sure.
And so him coaching Boo and him having that connection, and I was always in the gym, and then later on, obviously my dad introduced me to Boo, and Boo changed my life. I just did a documentary interview with those guys about Boo, and if it wasn't for Boo, I probably would have never have gotten that college exposure, because he introduced me to Five Star changed my life. It was an outdoor camp at the time.
Yep.
Well, one of the best camps ever. All the great ones go there. And so that family, my dad, my grandfather, kind of helped me to develop in sports. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have played sports.
I don't know if they just don't understand the impact that Boo had, not only in this area, but just globally. Like, everybody I talked to about Boo, in some way, if they were interacted with him, he helped them in some way. Boo was just, he's still instrumental in a lot of people's lives. But just, I know the documentary is coming out. I got a chance to talk to some people about that. It's going to be really nice, man. So I'm glad you're a part of that, because a lot of people have come through Boo. I was going to ask you about the experience with Boo, but you wrapped it up. But you talked about those rugged pickup games. So was it going to be anywhere else but Hampton High? Did you have your mindset? I know back then it's not like it is now where you can go wherever you want. Were you just zoned for Hampton? You were going to go there? Or what was the decision to go to Hampton High?
It was old school, man. I was zoned for Hampton. And a story, man, that nobody really knows about. I've told it before, but I'll share it now. My junior year, going into my junior year, right around mid-December, I was a junior now. I'm 16. Made the all-star team at Five Star, played real well with one of Boo's teams that summer. I was coming off the bench, man, as a junior. People don't realize that. The first 3 months of the season, October, November, December, I was coming off the bench. I might have played a quarter and a half.
Wow.
Right. And again, you hear this all the time.
Right.
I train players that, say this, but I should have played. I should have been starting.
You should have been starting. Right.
Been starting. And again, my story was real. Like I nothing against Paul Blackman.
Yeah.
He was a starting point guard, but I just know that I was better, and we could have played a 3-guard lineup. Kevin Swan was our best player, legit. Yeah. And so that we were going over to play Granby. Going over to play Granby. They had a point guard there named Jermaine Duckett. And he was on our Boo Williams, all-star team during the summer. So I know Jermaine. Paul Blackman was complaining about something on the bus. Rick Hunter got up, told him to be quiet. And next thing we knew, they were fighting. And
wow.
he knocked Paul out. Now, today, Rick would have been in jail.
Right.
Back then, he broke Paul's left side of his face, broke his socket and all that. And, Rick got suspended for like 3 games. So how about this, W? I'm like, all right, man, I didn't want to start this way, but I get my shot. I didn't even start that game. They started a cat named Jermaine Golson, great player. Yes. Yeah, I coached him. I played with him at Hampton. Right. He was 2 years. I think he was a freshman, and I was a junior. So Jermaine got moved up. Good player, helped us win a state championship. He played at Hampton University. I think it was all conference one of those years. Great player, good human being. But no way, as a freshman, he should have started that game against Granby. Long story short, he had like 4 or 5 turnovers in the first quarter. Second quarter, I never forget, Art Jones said, hey, put Ganon in the game. Rest is history, man. State championship junior year, runner-up senior year, 31 Division I offers, played for all conference, all rookie team at Duquesne and Atlantic 10. leadership award at UNC Wilmington when I transferred, played overseas, had a tryout with the NBA Denver Nuggets. So my point is, like, I was right. And the reason I'm telling this story is you got to be so good that they can't ignore you. And my parents, after that game, they were like, look, man, you want to transfer? You know, I'm like, nah, man, I'm not transferring. I'm gonna find a way to play, because I didn't know if I was going to start one game or, you know, when Paul came back. I was like, nah, man, I'm not going to train, because, you know, Bethel wanted me, Warwick Ben Moore wanted me, and Ham Christian wanted me, right? So those are the three options that I probably could have transferred, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick it out and fight, because this is my school. This is a good team. I just got to be so good that Coach Brower can't ignore me. And that's what I did, and the rest is history. But not many people think, oh man, I had a great high school career. Man, I didn't even start till midway through my junior year. Yeah.
And then you got 31 Division I offers still, and that's a good story to tell some of your guys. You know, even though a lot of the, you know, kids, if they don't start right away, they're going wherever. But, you know, you stuck it out and still got your thing. You know,
I was talking to Tracy McGrady last month. I'm training his son.
Wow.
So I get to go to Houston quite often, spend time with the McGrady's, great family. And he was saying the major difference between back then and now, and you know this, but it's like kids handle adversity differently.
Right.
Their pain tolerance way lower than ours.
Right.
And again, I get it. The culture's changing, life is changing, but to me, we can't let these kids change. You know, we can't change as coaches. We have to be demanding without demeaning. We got to break their soft habits without breaking their heart. You know, you want to keep their hearts, you know, soft and open, but their body, their mind has to be tough. And that's the difference, man. Like, between the Bethel players of back then and the Bethel players now, or the Hampton players back then and the Hampton players now, man, it's a pain tolerance. How much physical and mental pain are you going to take before you quit?
There you go.
Right? Before you quit. And guess what? Paul did not quit. Him and Eric made up, right? Rest in peace, Eric Hunter. He's no longer with us. But Paul is now a retired, you know, Army veteran. I think he has his own business, very, very successful. And that taught me a lot about who Paul was, handling all that. He didn't quit. He's got a chip, and he was a major part of our winning a state championship. As I said, Coach Brower started playing all three of us, me, Paul, and Swan as a 3-guard lineup. And we beat Kenny Harris, we beat Grant Hill, you know, teams in the Kenny Harris went to North Carolina, you know, top 5 players in the state. He was McDonald's All-American. Obviously, everybody knows who Grant Hill is. How about this? I played Grant
Hill twice, right, in your career?
Yeah, we played him my junior year, and then my senior year, beat him both times. That summer going into my senior year, Grant and I were on the same team at 5-star.
Oh, wow.
So all the coaches are coming to our court to watch Grant, and I was like Bobby Hurley.
Getting it in. Yes, sir.
I was feeding them, giving them oops. He made me look good, and he helped me get some offers. So fast forward 20 years later, I'm training Grant Hill. Right? When he was at Phoenix, I trained Amari Stoudemire, and Grant Hill jumped in and worked out with us as well. So neat story there.
This is what I'm saying. Global icon right here, buddy. Okay, so you get a chip, almost 2 chips, you get runner-up. So you got a college decision to make. I know you went to Duquesne first. You transferred to UNC Wilmington. What was the decision in going to Duquesne, and why did you ultimately choose them?
Well, I went to Duquesne real selfishly. I had a chance to start in the Atlantic 10. And Atlantic 10 at the time was one of the top in the country. I mean, back then they had Rutgers, West Virginia, Penn State, UMass with John Calipari, Temple,
with Chaney,
Eddie Jones, you know, right? Mark Macon, 2 NBA vets, Rick Brunson, NBA vet, his son Jalen. How about that? I played against Rick, got to coach with Rick, and then coached his son Jalen, who now Jalen's in the NBA. So
he's having a great career right now.
Yeah, I'm friends with the Brunson family, and just went to Duquesne because it was high level basketball, and I had a chance to start right away, which I did, and I made the all rookie team and got to prove that, you know what, I can play at a high level, you know. We didn't win. We didn't win. Our coach ended up getting fired, so I transferred to UNC Wilmington.
Right.
And ended up starting there for 2 years. Got to play Old Dominion, William and Mary, George Mason. How about this? When I transferred, William and Mary offered, Richmond offered. I actually verbally committed to Old Dominion.
So that's where so you probably would have been there when I was there. I was there in '95. So
Yep.
a little bit before that, you come. Yeah, that's when Odell
93.
Hodge, P.D. Sessoms, all those guys. Yeah, Mike Jones. Yeah,
Mike Jones and I are friends. But Mike Jones was there. Swan was the point. Who was the white guy there, man?
Larkin.
Yeah, Kevin Larkin.
Yep.
Yeah. P.D. Sessoms, Breon Dunlap.
Yep.
Mario Mullen.
Yeah. He's actually a head coach, high school head coach now. I think Ocean Lakes, Virginia Beach. He was an older man. Yeah. They had some ballers back then. So you verbally committed there, right?
Verbally committed. They didn't send the letter of intent right away.
Okay.
UNC Wilmington asked me to visit just to see. So I'm like, all right, let me just go down there. Man, end up falling in love with the place, falling in love with the campus.
That's right on the beach too, man. It's nice down there.
Yeah. And my professor down there is now a lifelong mentor. And then Kevin Eastman, who's my head coach down there, actually helped me get the Nike job, helped, offered me a job with the Celtics, that I turned down. So it was a reason for me going down there, because I was always anointed not to be a player, but to be a coach. I played at the highest level. I tried to play as long as I could and go as far as I can. But, your playing career is limited, but your coaching career is your legacy, the way I was looking at it.
Absolutely.
I didn't know at the time that I was doing that, but it all worked out.
So you had a great career again at UNC Wilmington, and you start thinking, are you thinking NBA? Or what are you thinking after that career at UNC Wilmington is over?
Well, I knew I wasn't good enough to make the NBA. I didn't put up the stats. I mean, I averaged maybe 9 points and 3 assists, which is respectable, for a starting point guard, but nowhere near good enough to be an NBA point guard. So I was thinking overseas. Got hurt, couldn't try out at some places that summer. So I took a graduate assistant job at Hampton University, got my master's, started to learn how to coach Jermaine, right, for a year. And then went to Belmont Abbey Division II college, coached there for 2 years, and then Coastal Carolina Division I. So I was on my way to be a college coach for 5.5 years, and just didn't like it, didn't like the system, didn't like the imbalance, didn't like the business part of it. It was too much, recruiting and academic stuff. And I'm a teacher. I want to be on the floor every day.
Right.
Every day. I got to be on the floor. It's basketball. I'm a gym rat. So I was taking my players at the time. I retired, and I took them to a tryout, and they needed one more player to make the team.
I love this story, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. So I'm in there just playing, trying to help them. Next thing I know, I had 3 scouts, ask the director, hey, is this guy available? And the guy asked me, hey, man, I got Sweden, Switzerland, and Iceland wanting you to come play. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. Wow. So I took Iceland because it was the most money.
Right.
And I could also coach over there. I had some free time to coach. So I played in Iceland, averaged about 33 a game, not a great Euro league, but it was a good league. Each team had one American. When I left, one of the Americans had a tryout with the Houston Rockets. So, it was good. I ended up getting hurt, tearing a tibial tendon. So I couldn't go back to Iceland, and I was on the shelf in a boot for like 7 months. It was a very devastating. Wow. Yeah, man, it was devastating. So that's when I started my business. I prayed. I thought this is what God wanted me to do. I read the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, and the Prayer of Jabez by Bruce Wilkerson, and thought, you know what, man, I've been waiting this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to train players. And then eventually I learned my job is to help them win in basketball and help them win in life.
Right.
Those are my 2 main jobs. And 21 years later, here I am, coaching. But 2 years into my business, I was 30. I'm like, hey, man, I still got the playing bug. There's stuff. There's stuff still in that basement. I remember playing with Lamont Struthers in the Pro-Am. Where they had a Pro-Am. I don't know if they still do it. Wayne Hoffler.
Yep. Hoffler, he still does it. Yep.
He still does it. Yeah, it was a very good program. Iverson, Rutland with Joe Smith, Bryant Stiff, I don't think Alonzo ever played, but Lamont was probably one of the best players in the league, and just enjoy. And I was doing well, enjoying it. And so my agent somehow got me a tryout for the summer to try out for the Denver Nuggets summer league team. So they were taking 4 players to go try out with this team, and then the 4 players went into a pool of 25, and us 25 would try to earn 1 spot. So I ended up trying out for 250 players. They cut it to 4. I was one of the 4. They took us 4, put us in the camp with Melo and Chris Anderson and Andre Miller and Francisco Ellison. And, it was really neat. Nene was around, and from that 25, they would pick 2 of us, and I ended up getting hurt. They cut me. But I made it through about 3 cuts, and then the last cut, I shattered my knuckle. I still can't bend it, and they said, you know what, you're hurt, and you're not good enough. So I'm like, oh, great. So I couldn't blame it on the injury. They said, you should be a coach. Right. You just not good enough. You have skill, you have IQ, you're tough. But you're just not good enough to play in our league. Maybe go play in a Division III Euro league. I said, well, I did play in Iceland. They were like, well, go play over there. That's a good league for you. Like real cold. They kept it real, but they said, man, you'd be a hell of a coach, man. You got that charisma, that communication, that leadership. I said, well, can I stay out for another week and watch y'all work out pros? And they're like, sure. So they put me up in the embassy suite. Still, how about this, man? They gave us $75 a day for meal money.
Wow. You can eat nice with that.
They gave us free breakfast at the embassy suites. They brought in lunch in the locker room after practice. So basically, you had $75 to spend on dinner. I went to Chili's, and I'm pocketing at least 55.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Applebee's the next night, I'm pocketing 20. I'm only spending 20. So it's. It was an amazing opportunity because I got to play and then start to learn. All right, this is what pros need, and here we are. I've trained over 300 NBA, WNBA players, and 49 countries. It's crazy.
So Ganon Baker Basketball was started, like you said, over 20 years. You've been training just about everybody. What is it about Ganon Baker Basketball to get you excited and get you motivated every day when you wake up?
That's a good question. As I said before, I know exactly where this is where God wants me. You know what I mean? Like I know exactly like this is what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? I'm in my comfort zone. I'm in my anointing. I'm in my purpose. I'm at peace because a lot of people out there are trying to do stuff that they weren't made for.
Right. Absolutely. Good point.
And it's not their fault. They try, but eventually it's like you gotta look within. You gotta kind of take a step out of your life. If your life is a picture, you gotta take a step out of your frame and look, at the picture and say, man, does it fit?
Right.
Where's my fruit? Am I making impact? You know what I mean? And so, since 2000, I've been making an impact, changing people's lives. Why? Because they tell me. Mm-hmm. And now we get thousands of messages a year. I feel it. I see it. So I'm producing impact and fruit. People still want me. They hire me. The product is good. I make money. I'm not in debt. Growth. I still am learning about how to be a coach. I'm not there yet as an expert, even though I know the game. I know every solution as a player, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. If you have a problem, I got your solution. I'm Google, if you will.
Yep.
Right? There's no problem that I don't have an answer for. Offensively, I've been playing and coaching this game since I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 49. I got 41 years in this, man. So you can't tell me my stuff, it doesn't work. My truth fears no question.
That's it. Absolutely.
And I had haters and trolls and critics coming at me in Hampton. Oh man, you just a dribble guy. What is this shake and bake bullshit? Hey, this shit works. And I carried that confidence, that conviction, that charisma. Pardon my cursing. I get excited.
No, you're good. You're fine, man.
But like I've been fighting to be great at this game since I was 8. And a lot of people, I mean, hell, after 10 years, don't have that passion. I've been doing it 41 and I still love the game. I still want to learn. What I'm saying, W, is like true joy is growth.
Yep.
If you want to break somebody's depression and darkness, if they're in the dungeon of despair, if you will, they have to find joy. How do you get joy? You grow. How do you grow? You learn, you fail, you embrace pain as a positive thing so that you can produce power. Like pain is your friend if you learn from it and you grow from it, you know? So that's what I say about Ganon Baker basketball is that number one, it's where God wants me to. Number two, it's fun. I mean, who wouldn't want to work for yourself? I can get up anytime I want.
Yep.
I don't have anybody telling me what to do, although I'm a great follower. I don't mind you telling me what to do, but if I have an idea and I know it's going to bring impact, I don't have to run it by anybody except my wife.
You got to run it through them first.
Except my wife, and I was smart and married a wife that had the same passion and vision as me.
There you go.
Is not going to handcuff, and she's not the root of my joy, nor am I the root of her. Like we don't depend on each other, right, for joy or direction. Like we know who we are, and we're not controlling. So other than my wife, man, it's like I don't have. And obviously, I pray.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times, God doesn't come down and say, "No, don't do that," or "Yes, do that." It's discernment. It's the challenge and the puzzle you got to figure out as a human. Like, man, is this what you need to do right now? So that if you're an entrepreneur, nobody really appreciates the time freedom that you have as an entrepreneur unless you are one. And once you are one, it's hard to go back into the real world.
It is.
You know what I mean? To get a real job. So those are the two main reasons.
Let me ask you this. How quick does it take for you to know if a player has it? You know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of times you'll train somebody and you got to keep pushing them. But when do you know that guy or that young lady just has it and they're ready to go?
That's a great question. The hardest thing to measure is development. Teachers know that. Coaches know that. You know, you can't measure. It's hard to explain potential.
Right.
Me being as a player at every level, you know, being in that NBA training camp as a player, me training LeBron and Kobe and some of these guys behind me, you know, Vince Carter and Darren Williams, Chris Paul, Maya Moore. It's like, oh, that's greatness. Oh, okay. Greatness walks like that. Greatness talks like that. Greatness acts like that. Greatness gets through adversity like that. Greatness produces like that. So for me, I mean, it really depends on the situation, the age level of the kid, how long I've spent time with them. So I can't really give an answer. I mean, sometimes it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah.
Sometimes it might take a month. Right. I had a kid from Canada stay with me for 3 months. And he came from Niagara, a town of 25,000, right, in Canada. Came down with me. He wanted to see what he got. You know, I've been training him 2 weeks out of every summer in Canada. So I got him as an 8-year-old, right? Now he's 16. He comes, trains with me. The first week, I'm like, he don't have it. Because again, he wanted to play. He wants to go to the NBA. He wants to be a Steve Nash. He wants to play in the Olympic team. He wants to play at a BCS school. So after a week, I knew he had Division I potential. He could be Division I, sure. But I didn't know if he had like the it factor of going to the NBA. After a month, seeing him produce, get through it, get better, and then perform. Like a lot of times you don't know if a kid has it until he performs and plays against a team or player that has it. Right.
That's good.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
So he played against some teams that had it. These players had it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, he's a pro. He could play in the NBA. he could play in the NBA. So it just depends, man. But guess what? You can't evaluate and give the truth unless you possess it.
There you go.
And so many, and that's why I love this show. We're keeping it real. So if anybody out there wants to be great, right, or wants to be an expert, or wants to lead, or wants to give value, you can't give what you don't possess.
Tell them, bro.
You know what I mean? So
Yes,
look,
sir.
now you either possess it through your experience, or you possess it through your study. I've done both. I've possessed it as a player, and I'm studying the game. I'm learning how to, right, solve problems as a coach. So you don't have to play the game at a high level to be a high level coach or leader, but you got to possess, right, toughness if you want to teach it. You have to have wisdom in your own life in order to show kids how to be wise and make good choices in their own, or else your message is not authentic and it's not going to impact. Right? You might motivate a little bit, but you're never going to inspire, because to me, motivation is they do it in front of you. And inspiration is life-changing, right? Coaching and leading is, are they doing it when you're 1,500 miles away? Are they doing it in the dark when you're not around? How are they in the unseen hours? Like, of course, they're doing it when you see them, but how are they when you don't see them? If you made an impact, they're doing that stuff when you're not even around, and they're coming back saying, Coach, I've mastered this. What do you think about this?
That's right.
And that's when you get pros, right? Amateurs do what they're told. Pros go above and beyond and take the initiative. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. That's what they always say. He's a good pro, because I guess that means he just does it on his own. Nobody's watching and stuff like that. But when you train in LeBron and Vince, the guys you name, do you ever get intimidated or nervous when you know what I'm saying? Like, they, again, I want you to work me out. Is there ever a time when you're like, oh, I'm getting ready to work out LeBron. I gotta bring my A game, or is it just work to you? Just normal work.
Obviously, you get more excited when you're working out an NBA player. You get super excited when you're working out a Hall of Famer. But I never got nervous.
Yeah.
You know, the only person that really intimidated me was Kobe. Yeah. And it really wasn't about his accolades. It was just about his wisdom. Like, Kobe's the only one that I felt, man, I don't know if I could teach him anything.
Right.
Like, I don't know if he'll learn anything from me. LeBron, all these other guys, I felt there was at least one, maybe two things that I could teach him. I know all of them can't match my energy or passion. Like, they might, like, I don't know if I have more passion in them, but they ain't gonna have less passion than me. Like, we're here on energy. We're here on passion. As far as skill work, like, I can shoot left and right. I can dribble fast. I can demonstrate any moves. I'm strong as crap. I can do push-ups on 4 balls. I can jump rope at the speed of light like Bruce Lee and Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, my skill game is off the charts, even at 49 right now. Yeah. So that brings a wealth of confidence to me, because with what I do, I have to show them. And so I gain their respect with showing them. I can walk the walk, and then I can talk the talk. So I always could do that with Kobe. You know, and again, with Kobe, it wasn't about, hey, he could care less about left hand. He could care less about how fast, you know, the demonstration part. With Kobe, it was all about Mamba mentality, man. Fight, teach me something I don't know. You better bring your energy and toughness. I mean, he was tougher than me. So I'm like, but other than that, no, like I said, man, when you live in the truth, your truth fears no question. Awesome. I don't question anything that people give me, or I even have those negative thoughts in I don't question, because I'm in the truth. Other things in my life, oh yeah, I got a lot of fear, because I don't spend as much time with it, and I'm ignorant. But basketball, no, I'm prepared. I'm ready to learn. Right. But no, I got this now. I'm prepared. There you go. And I challenge people to teach me something. When they do, I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, I'm coachable. I'm humble. I'm open-minded. Oh, that's good. I'm not a communistic coach. I'm always looking to learn, but I'm well-versed, brother. I'm well versed, and I'll challenge you physically. Hey, you're gonna F me? Cool. You better educate me.
Right.
You better educate me. And then if I think I can take them, I'll play them one-on-one. Really? Let's play one-on-one. I can't do that with everybody now. I can do that with everybody. Like I remember Jared Bayless played for Arizona. Played for the Hornets. Like he was mouthing on. I played him. I said, let's stop the workout. You're not gonna go hard. Freaking see if you can stop me. And he did. He won the one-on-one, but that sucker was breathing hard.
I know he was.
That sucker was feeling me. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, well, now you're ready to work, because you played me hard one-on-one, but you got to play hard when you're pushing yourself through, because I'm not as good as what you're going to face. You're a backup point guard, Jared. You want to be an all-star? Then your motor has to be up. Let's go. Kobe wouldn't act like that. Chris Paul, you're chasing. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
As a coach, you got to be willing to confront, and you can't confront unless you have strong convictions.
That's awesome, man. Hey, you ready for these? We're going to do this segment called Keeping It Real. But before that, I want to, can you let everybody know how to get in touch with you if they want to get a workout or, on your website? Yeah.
I might be coming to the Hampton Roads area this summer.
Okay.
So Grassfield High School, I think, has hired me.
Chesapeake. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do something with them. So I'm all over the internet. Ganon_Baker_ is my Instagram. At Ganon Baker is my Twitter. You just Google me. You can find me, Ganon Baker, GANON basketball.com. I'm on LinkedIn. My email is ganon@ganon basketball.com. We do a lot of mentoring, player, coaches, parents, consulting, live workouts, virtual workouts. I have a membership called The Vault. I saw that. Yeah. All priceless stuff in there. And, we're trying to build that membership up. I have people come to see me and do live mentoring here in Florida. We're about 500 yards from the beach. It's a beautiful area.
Nice.
And, don't let money get in the way. We do charge, but if there's something you can't afford, we have payment plans. We have layaways, if you will. I came from Hampton Roads, man.
You got to do layaway.
Hey, man, Kmart, Woolworth, garage sale. Money hasn't changed me, man. I'm still looking for a deal. I get it. We provide that. I never let any obstacle get in the way of people wanting to learn with me. However, I don't, unless it's a ministry thing, we're not doing anything for free.
Right, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to earn it. You got to invest. And we'd love to have people spend time with us.
Awesome, man. All right, you ready for the quick hitters? We call this Keeping It Real, Gannon. You ready for this?
So let's keep it real, man.
All right, man. Best player you've trained or developed in your career?
I would say developed is Amari Stoudemire. Best player I've trained is a guy named Rodney Clark, All-American, played at Arkansas, Butler, 2-time MVP in Australia, 5'11", short guard,
Nice. All right, man. If you had to play a pickup game, you had to pick 4 other players, including yourself, who would they be?
Myself, my dad.
Okay.
My brother.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we've ever played pickup.
So who's playing the point? You or JB?
Me. John can't dribble.
He's a 2 guard. Right.
JB can't dribble. he's still Bob. You watch him, Bob Cousy spinning.
Yeah.
Jonathan was a hell of a player, all-time leading 3-point maker in the history of Richmond. Not sure if his records have been broken. Top 5 in steals, 2 chips. So he was great. And then Allen Iverson, even though I've played against him and with him, I mean, he's just, I trained his son, and his son went to our prep school in Delray Beach, Elevate. Like, Iverson's one of the greatest players I've ever seen and play with. And then obviously Jordan, the guy behind me.
Okay, for sure. That's a nice team right there. That's a nice team right there. All right, you mentioned Iverson, right? So the top 5 doesn't have to necessarily be the best. It's just your top 5 best players from the 757 area.
Hampton Roads.
Yeah,
Iverson,
of course.
Ricky Wilson.
Yes, Phoebus. Yep.
Boo Williams.
Legend.
Gosh, man.
There's so many, man.
I mean,
Alonzo, J.R. Reed. You got. I mean, it's.
Well, Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh, just saying Hampton, the Hampton area.
Obviously, Lonzo and
Yeah.
I'm just saying Hampton.
Hampton
Right?
for sure.
Hampton. Maybe Newport News.
Yeah, you got to throw that in there too.
Kevin Swan. I mean, I played against him since he was. I mean, that he's one of the best.
Yeah, people forget about him. They don't mention him as much as they think they should.
He's underrated, man. Like Swan.
He is.
Swan could have had a 12-year career overseas. Maybe G League if it was back then. Like Swan was amazing.
He was.
And then people won't agree, but my brother, like my brother, just.
Oh, he was a shooter, man. Hampton. He was.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have. If you say Ganon, you're biased. All right, not my brother. It's tied between Art Jones and Tony Rutland.
Rutland, that's my guy. That's my guy. I got it.
So I mean, you could throw Ronald Curry in there, but I just think.
It's to the point where you have so many people you're gonna leave off, and that's just how it's gonna be.
I wouldn't argue with Ronald Curry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue with Damon Baker.
Got about him too. See.
Wow. I wouldn't argue. I gotta prep for that question because that's a great question. Not well versed.
It's so many. Man, all right, last one for
years ago.
Oh, I know. Last one for you. Rest in peace, Danny Mitchell, man. That was one of my greatest guys that I knew in the Hampton High community. And of course, Coach Mike Smith just retired a couple of weeks ago. They both were characters. We know that, right? And I know you didn't play football, but you were around them a lot during your days at Hampton High. So just give me a couple, if you can, stories of give me a good Mike Smith or Danny Mitchell story.
Well, I mean, anybody that grew up with me, they knew I wasn't shy. If you talk junk to me, I'm going to talk junk back. And freshman year going into Hampton, only white dude on the basketball team. So, everybody came at me, white, black, Asian. I was the token. And I was the token that had a strut.
Right.
People thought I was strutting on purpose. One of my legs is longer than the other, man. So I walk like a little back. But people, whatever, man. It's part of my DNA. And Mike Smith, never forget. Hey, you want to try out for football? I was like, nah, coach, I'm a basketball player. He's like, you're playing a sissy sport. I'm like, sissy sport? Like, yeah, you couldn't take football. I'm like, man, I'll come out. I'm gonna go watch practice today. He's like, yeah, come on and watch. Man, I came out and watched. He must have intentionally done the hardest drills, the loudest drills. Like guys are like crashing in it looked like WWF, man. And every time they crash into each other, they would look at me and just shake my head. All the players would shake their head, and it was loud and body slamming. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing that, man. And so fast forward to my senior year. Gymnastics mats were on the court and we were cleaning them up, we're moving them to practice. And all of a sudden, I didn't know who it was, but Danny Mitchell came up behind me, picked me up, and just body slammed me, man, right on the mat in front of everybody. And now, if you did that now, he'd be arrested. He'd
be done.
But,
he'd be done.
It was cool. Him and my dad were friends. I love Coach Mitchell. And man, I was ready to fight. And so I got up. He's like, yeah, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? He's like, I eat what you weigh for breakfast. What do you weigh, Dan? I think 170. I eat that for breakfast, man. That's how many pounds. What you gonna do? He jumped and I flinched. And everybody was laughing. And I turned around and said, well, won't y'all take him? And then Danny was like, yeah, come on. Y'all can't take me. Like Aaron Mundy, Giovanni Freeman, Lonnie, man. They're like, man, coach is crazy. But that really happened, man. My wind got knocked out of me, man. I could have dislocated my shoulder and lost my scholarship to Duquesne.
Yeah, messing with Danny Mitchell. Yeah,
body slammed me on the mats. And them mats, it was them Hampton High School mats, man. This ain't the Olympic mats. Stuff hard.
Hard, man.
This thing had cuts in them and creases in them, and one of them cut me, man. I'm like, son of a. True story, man. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Those are, both of them are characters, man. I still see Coach Smith around. He's limping around. He's still hanging on, but he just retired. And Hampton High legends, man. So,
legends, man.
But Ganon, man, Right. Much love to you, man. I appreciate you coming on.
You.
And
Welcome.
we are going to have this all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll definitely link you.
Man.
For sure. Absolutely, man.
Put it out. And
I appreciate
it's an honor
man.
to be on your cast.
I appreciate you, Ganon. Thank you so much, man. And keep doing what you're doing. And let me know when you make that trip down to to the Hampton Roads area. We'll maybe come out there and check you out.
All right, make sure I got your cell number. I know I got your email, but
I'll send it to you.
It's been an honor, man. I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully this impacts and pushes some of these young people that still live in Hampton, let them know that their dreams can come true. And it might not be the dream that they want, but they'll have tremendous joy and impact if they just follow their heart and make sure they have God's anointing.
Absolutely, man. Well said. Well said. Thanks a lot, man. I'll talk to you later, man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. See you.
All right. Take it easy.
This episode is sponsored by La Vida Agency. Protect, Prepare, Plan.